Hey everyone, Dev here. If it looks a bit different here, this is Omega Supreme's base, and today's video is all about some of the attacks that Omega has been doing on the island. Now, as you can see, Omega, he's doing all right. Everything at Builder Hall 5, and just waiting for the Builder Hall to go up, but what I'm actually trying to do is get some resources to finish these walls off, and also to get the cannon cart upgraded. Okay, so what strategy have I been using lately? Well, I've been using a bomber strategy. Yes, the bombers. Now, I thought previously that the bombers weren't that flash, but turns out I've been getting some pretty good results using a combination of the battle machine, some giants, some bombers, and maybe archers, or even the barbarians, the BombBarb strategy perhaps. So I'm going to show you this one here. First of all, the attack. So this is my attack on Vishnu, and taking a quick look around, what have I got here? I'm looking at a Builder Hall 5. The mortar is going to be the one that's going to cause you some issues. We've also got to watch out for the long range point defenses. The crusher doesn't really come into play because hopefully the bombers are at range, and the battle machine is important because it serves as a tank for you. So the first thing I want to do is set up some giants here and get some breaches. So I've got four bombers, one on each side causing a breach, and then the other two in the center. Then with a few barbarians to clear a bit of a funnel because I want them to be heading in towards the town hall. Okay, so the barbarians go around the outside. The reason I'm using barbarians is because they're a bit tanky, and also got some pretty good attack power on them. But the other thing is they're numerous. They're 15 as opposed to 8, so that's the main reason I'm using those barbarians. Now the battle machine's in there, and you can see once those walls are down, okay, the bombers that were in the center, this one over here, is going for the center stuff, and of course any buildings that are attached to those walls are going to take the damage. Okay, and you can see here that the bombers at range have managed to take up the crusher as well. So all in all, a fairly interesting and unique take on an attack, and 100%. Don't see that too often. Pretty happy there. Vishnu had a response, of course. And as you've probably already seen, spoiler alert, it is in fact a 94%. Okay, and unfortunately for him, he's a dirty baby dragon spammer. And he would have thought he would have got away with a pretty good attack at 94%. In goes his battle machine. I'm at 2 times speed right now. Okay, and the purpose of this base really is, you can see it draws some of the troops into that crusher with the CC troops and that little guard post. Okay, along comes the baby dragons, got the bombs there, destroying them, and then he decides to spam around the outside. And we'll speed up because baby dragons are pretty strong, not going to lie. But it turns out that it's just a matter of time that stops Vishnu from wiping me out completely. Nothing more frustrating than a 100% draw. Haven't seen one of those, but a few of my clanmates have. Alright, and you can see here that baby dragons, just not enough puff in them. Yes, that was on purpose. So yeah, previously I was using giants and archers. There we go, 94%. Previously using archers with giants to get through, but found that the bombers are a little different, like their splash damage. Splash damage seems to be pretty key here. Alright, so the next one after Vishnu, we'll take a look at AF Azal. And here I've got a base with a few more compartments in them. But the idea is, once again, to try to use the bombers that targeting the walls to splash and take out the structures that are right next to the walls. That seems to be the best way to look at this particular attack. Now I've used the battle machine up there to draw the more fire away, and this time using giants and barbarians and bombers on the other side. So again, keeping that mortar occupied with your battle machine. The fact I've got the ability is quite handy, and you can see now that those bombers are going into the core of the base, or they're going into the interior of the base, not necessarily the core, because they're following those walls around. Now the giants are there obviously to shield, and then the barbs are there also to try and get in and take out some of the structures too, with the bombers in behind for cleanup. Now it's not always 100%, but it is fairly high against similar builder halls to you. And having a big battle machine is a huge plus in this particular case. All right, you can see the bombers there, they're now breaking off and going to the left. This attack for me will peter out at around about mid-80s. There we go. No, won't even get there. 84%. All right, so that attack's pretty good. Excuse me. I'll show you the response from AF Azal, who's using a traditional Giants and Archers combo. And we'll go at 2 times speed. Again, you can see how the base is designed. The Giants are drawn into the firecrackers first of all, then they're going to go through to feed the Crusher, and those CC troops are drawing them in. Bounce off the springs. Okay, now that he's taken out the high priority target of that max mortar, well, max builder hall 5 mortar, trying to use some of the archers which have disappeared, and the battle machine is the one that ends up doing the most amount of damage here, having to go around the outside of that little loop there. Still under fire from the archer tower. Okay, pretty happy with the way the base held up there. I don't think I'll show the attacks from the next 2 people. Alright, so after that, what have we got here? Here's a 52%. Okay, so it doesn't always work. There are certain bases you can't really do this on. But again, I was looking for the little runs down the side and hope that the walls here would cause the bombers to follow into the interior. So I put the bombers a little closer to the center rather than on the edge, and the battle machine hopefully distracts the mortar long enough. Turns out that wasn't the case, and that mortar in there ends up targeting the wrong units as far as I'm concerned. Now the bombers end up splitting and going towards the corners here. They do make a breach for me. Eventually, there it is on the corner. Okay, so I do get some traction now. Okay, a few barbarians left just to pick up the pieces. And we managed to get the town hall, but that's probably going to be all she wrote, 52% here. That mortar just doing a good job in crushing everything. And the bombers, they are brittle, so you've got to protect them. It was against E2X. So again, it's not 100% all the time. You've got to do a little bit of thinking, got to pick your base, but it does seem to be quite consistent. All right, let's take a look at a 92% this time against Christinius. Christinius. Okay, now this one is a nice sort of ringish base, sort of a box base. Again, the idea, this is a Builder Hall 6, by the way, with their high roaster and their big crushers. Okay, but this person has neglected the point defenses and the mortars, going for the big ticket items of the crusher and the flamer or the roaster. All right, so again, I wanted to keep the brittle units away from the flamer, occupying it with the giant first and foremost. This time going in on a corner, hoping that my bombers would splash and pick up some of the structures there. So usually not a fan of entering on a corner, but in this particular case it seems to have worked well. Note that that crusher is inactive, and the battle machine has hit up all those traps on that left-hand flank. So coming through now, luckily my barbs are strong enough, take out that mortar, which is great. And now you can see the bombers going around the edge here, which are not necessarily ideal, they're unprotected. This tends to happen, and this one here off on his own mission doing his thing. All right, but I've got one bomber in the middle, which seems to be good, and I've got some very small point defenses taking on my battle machine whilst the bomber takes out the crusher. Haven't seen a macro like that before, so it's quite cool. All right, 89 will turn into 92 any moment now. And throw the bomb, get shot, doesn't quite land. All right then. That one there, last one. All right, so yeah, it's frustrating when they end up going around the outside, just picking off the walls, but if you can get them to go into the middle of the base, I think you're going to find that they are very, very effective. All right, and the last one I'm going to show you is another 100%er. This time, this person has used their own combination of bombers and barbarians, so I'll show you Fishy first and foremost. So here he goes. Using the 3 bombers this time, and the problem is, of course, you can see the mortar has taken out the first bomber on the right hand side because, of course, bombers are brittle, so you really want that mortar to target something off to the side so that they don't get hit with splash. And using 45 barbarians, the bombers must have been there to make a breach, and that was about it. But pretty effective. Low level battle machine, low level 3, ends up doing a fairly decent job on my base. So we'll just fast forward this one so we can fit the last one in. Managed to hit all my traps. Didn't get the mortar out of the way, and now the mortar can pick off those units at distance. There we go. All right. So here's a mega, and again we've got a fairly interesting base. Okay, we've got all these little pockets, these little runs that I've got in my base as well. There's one there as well, designed to get your troops going in and then taking the maximum amount of distance. And this is I'd say rushed Builder Hall 6. We've got a low level crusher. Oh, not rushed, sorry, I'd say fresh. The mortar is a little bit lower. The archer tails are a bit low as well. So again, yeah, rushed or fresh, whichever way you want to look at it. First job, get the battle machine down and make sure you're distracting those defenses. Then use your bombers. Okay, ooh, missed out on that trap there. That would have been disaster. Okay, trying to make holes in these little compartments, which the bombers do there and there, you can see. And then from distance, take out the crusher, take out the other critical structures. Barbarians went around the outside of those flanks to try and clear out some of the junk and some of the extra buildings. So I'm going to put this one at 2 times speed. You can see what's going on. The bombers have actually fallen away. I've only got one left, now down to 0, and it's now the giants and battle machine. So the bombers in this case did okay in causing those breaches. The barbarians did okay in causing the death and destruction of all those other buildings on the outside. But it turns out it was the battle machine, the barbarian machine, popping off all those bombs, that end up carrying the day here. Okay, so managed to pick up all of the heavy weapons, managing to take out a lot of the at range stuff as possible. And once the barbarian machine, battle king, whatever you want to call it, gets to power up with his ability, it's fairly unstoppable. Note the logic there went for the crusher first before the cannon. I'm not sure what that's about. It is. Alright team, thanks very much for watching this one. Hope you've enjoyed and learned something. Maybe you've got a new army composition in mind now for your next your next Builder Hall attacks. Alright, now once again, Omega's base. I look forward to doing more videos from Omega's base now that Dev's base is almost completed. So keep an eye on this one, and we'll catch you later. Dev out.